There are several ways to connect your domain to WP Engine. The easiest way is to use Entry Connect, which is a built-in tool we provide in partnership with Entry to automatically update your DNS records on your behalf. But if your DNS provider isn't supported by Entry, or if you prefer to point your domain manually, we recommend pointing your domain with a CNAME record using the CNAME flattening method. To understand what we're about to set up, it helps to know how domains connect. You might be used to using an A record, which ties your domain to a specific number called an IP address. While that certainly works, cloud platforms like WP Engine perform best when you use a CNAME record instead, which connects your domain to a flexible web address. Normally, you cannot point your root domain to a CNAME. A root domain is simply your main domain without the www prefix. Instead, you're usually required to point it to a numeric A record. This is where CNAME flattening comes in. CNAME flattening is a special feature offered by some DNS providers that removes this restriction, allowing you to point your root domain to a CNAME instead of an IP address. We highly recommend using this method because it gives you the best DNS experience and a seamless network connection. It's important to note that not all DNS providers support this method. Before moving forward, please confirm that your provider allows CNAME flattening. Be aware that attempting this method with a provider that doesn't support it can delay your site going live and disrupt other critical services like your domain-based email. If your provider does not support CNAME flattening, don't worry. You can easily point your domain using standard A records instead. If that's the case for you, you can stop this video here and check out our tutorial on using A records. But if your provider does support it, let's move on to the setup. Step 1 is to add your domain to WP Engine. Log in to the WP Engine user portal, go to the overview page for your site, and click Domains. Then click the Add Domain button. Now enter your domain name. If you'd like to add the www version at the same time, keep this box checked. Also, Edge full page caching is enabled by default, but you can uncheck this box if you want to disable it. When you're ready, click the Add and Set Up Domain button. Step 2 is to verify domain ownership. We need to verify you own the domain by adding a TXT record. This is just a quick security step to ensure only you can connect this domain to your website. Since we are setting this up manually, click the Add TXT Record Manually button. You will see the specific TXT record information generated for your domain. Leave this tab open and we'll head over to your DNS provider next. Open a new tab, log into your DNS provider account, and locate their DNS editor. In this example, we're using Namecheap, so we'll click Manage next to the domain and select the Advanced DNS tab. If you're not sure where your provider's DNS editor is, a quick look at their support docs will point you in the right direction. Now create a new record in your DNS manager. In Namecheap, we will click Add New Record. For the type, choose TXT record. Next, switch back to your WP Engine tab and click the copy icon next to the host/label value. Return to your DNS account and paste it into the host field. Jump back to WP Engine one more time and click the copy icon next to the content value. Return to your DNS account, paste that long string of characters into the value box, and save your settings. And that's it for verification. Allow a few minutes for the internet to process the change. When you go back to your WP Engine domains page, the status should now say DNS not pointed. This means you're successfully verified and ready to move to Step 3. Step 3 is to add your CNAME records. Now that your domain is verified, it's time to point it to WP Engine. Expand your domain's status dropdown and click the Point DNS button. Then click Update DNS Records manually. On the next screen, you'll see all the DNS records available for your domain. We'll only be using the CNAME record, so you can safely ignore the 2A records. Now switch back to your DNS provider tab. Before adding your new records, check for any existing A records for your root domain. This record is typically named with an @ symbol or your domain name and points to an IP address. If it exists, delete it so it doesn't conflict with your new setup. A quick note of caution. Be careful not to modify or delete any other records, especially MX records, which control your domain-based email. Taking a quick screenshot before making changes is always a great safety measure. Now you're ready to connect your domain. Add a new record and enter the following. For the type, choose CNAME record. For the host, enter the @ symbol. Now switch back to your WP Engine tab and click the copy icon next to the CNAME value. Return to your DNS account and paste it into the value field. When you're finished, save your settings. Finally, let's configure the www version. Check your existing DNS records to see if you already have a CNAME record named www pointing to your root domain or the @ symbol. If you do, you're all set. If you do not have one, create a second CNAME record with these settings. Type CNAME record. Host www. Value. Enter your root domain name without the prefix. Save your settings, and now you're finished with the configuration. Your DNS changes will now begin to propagate globally across the internet. Propagation is the automatic process of updating servers worldwide to the new DNS information, and it can take anywhere from a few minutes to 48 hours. We can't predict exactly how long propagation will take because it all depends on how long it takes each of those servers to update their caches with the new information. This is not something WP Engine has control of, but you can check the status of your DNS on the domains page in the user portal. If you see green checkmarks here, your DNS is correctly pointed to WP Engine. You can also verify the status of your domain at whatsmydns.net. Enter your domain name, select CNAME, and then click Search. When you see all green checkmarks instead of red X's in the list, your domain propagation is complete and your domain is connected. Once propagation is complete, your website will officially be live on WP Engine, and anyone who visits your domain will be directed to your WP Engine-powered website. If you have any questions or need additional assistance, check out our support center at my.wpengine.com/support. This is where you can search our help documentation using conversational search and find other helpful resources like Willa, our support concierge, who's on standby to answer your questions. You can also reach out to our friendly support team. We're always here and ready to help.